Hey everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue. Happy Memorial Day. Just finished up watching the service here at our local cemetery for our fallen heroes. Had to interrupt that for a minute. I hope you are well. I'll watch the rest later, I guess. But I hope you are well. I am doing, good morning, Felicia. I'm doing better after a weekend of rest. I had a little fall over the weekend and hurt my knee again. Hi, Cheryl. Good morning, Dawn. Yes, I'm feeling better, Dorothy. Thank you so much for asking. Paula, good morning. And Amy, yeah, I'm feeling better. Hi, Penny. Yes, I am feeling better. I hope you all are well, too. I'm pretty excited because this morning when I logged on, I see that I'm back to being able to record this. Got to come on today. No school. Yay. I know. No school today. I know. I was talking to my son this morning and he's only got 3 more weeks. We don't know what he's going to do all summer though, because he usually is camping. But who knows what's going to happen this summer. They're still trying to figure it out. But 3 more weeks of Zoom calls and Google Hangouts and everything else. But today we get a reprieve, don't we? And so I thought that I would, I know that I originally was going to do an infusible ink demonstration, like a workshop on Saturday night. Yes, I am feeling better. Yes, I am. Thank you, Dawn. I hurt my knee because I fell on it. So I was going to do this, infusible ink workshop, which is, it's a lot of information to take in all in one go. So I wanted to break it up for you. And we're not going to work on the transfer sheets today. We're actually going to work on the pens. And also, excuse me, I am better. Thank you, Dawn. Thanks for asking. So we're going to work on the pens today, and we're not going to be working on the larger pens because we're going to be doing this on the Joy. And the Joy has its own pens for infusible ink. But they're slightly smaller, but I wanted to point out that it's a very similar process as working with your Maker or your Explorer. The only difference really here is the pens, okay? So if you're working on the Joy, you just need to have Joy pens, but if you're working on your Explorer or Maker, you need the larger pens, okay? So good morning, Shelley. Good morning. Hi, Tamara. It must be late there or early. I forget. Tomorrow's in the Netherlands. So we're going to be working with the Joy today, and we're going to be working with drawn images. And I wanted to show you how to, first of all, to find these images. We're going to do that. And then we're going to, I'm going to show you how to set them up so that they can write on the Joy. And then I'm going to actually apply something to a baby body suit so you can see how the pens work. I like the pens, I really do. I think they're a lot of fun. And if you're afraid of the cost of infusible ink, which really isn't terrible, but if you are afraid of the cost of infusible ink because you want to get all the transfer sheets, that's when the pens come in handy, because you can just buy 1 pack of pens. For the Joy, they come in packs of 3, but for the Maker and Explorer, they come in packs of 5, I believe. And they're fairly reasonably priced. I think that they're, for the Maker, they're like $15. And for the Joy, they're like under 10. So you get 3 for under $10, I believe. So First of all, let's talk a little bit about finding drawn images and seeing the difference between drawn images and a regular image. So you can kind of tell when an image is drawn, and I can show you also how to transfer an image from a cut image to a drawn image, but you can tell because it's usually presented to you in a very thin line here, and I have just a few examples of the drawn images here, and actually before I started I did a few. Remember that, I forget what it's called, spirograph or something like that? I thought these looked like spirograph from my childhood. So I wanted to show you how to find these images because they can be a little bit hard to find. And sorry, somebody's taking out my dogs. So they're getting really excited about going out for a little walk. So, anyway, to find the drawn images, you would go to Images, which is over here in Design Space. Let me make sure I can get it. And there's two ways that you can do this. You can go, let me just show you, go back to, this is the regular, what you see when you go to Images, okay? And you can look up by image set, which is formerly the cartridge search, and you can also search by image itself. But there is one slight difference between the two. So if you go to image sets, you will type in the word drawn with an N, and that will bring up 43 different sets of images that are just drawn images. No cutting in this, just drawn images. And there's quite a few. There's all kinds. There's people, there's mythical creatures. These ones here that are colored are also cut. So they're colored on top of a cut image. And then there's some, they're very, very intricate, and some that are very simple. So this is what I used today, was the drawn geometric designs. And you notice that there's like 23 different geometric designs, and I picked a few from there. But let's go back to the regular image search. And if you type in the word draw, not drawn, but draw, and do a question mark, a search, you will find almost 10,000 images that are drawn. Now, not all of them are appropriate for infusible ink, but if you're a card maker and you are looking for sentiments for cards, this is another way to find sentiments, because if you type draw, you'll notice that you'll start to see some of these sentiments that I've pointed you towards from Anna Griffin's images that are in her cards. But this is a good way to see them, as well as to see different images, such as this one here, this beautiful butterfly, which, let me move these so you can see. And it's the same thing as whenever you do an image search, you just pull it into your canvas on Cricut Design Space, and you have to manipulate it. If you're working with Cricut Joy, remember one of your measurements cannot exceed 4.25 inches for an image. Good morning, Carol-Ann. Oh, thank you so much, Emmy. Yes, I'm better. It's just somebody told me it's something about my treatments. It causes some issues with movement, I think. So, okay, so let's just hide this butterfly. So we've got a bunch of images here that I've resized, and I wanted to show you how they look, and then also try to write a few, and then do it on a baby bodysuit that I have. And so I'm wondering, I think this would look really cute on a baby bodysuit, this heart. So we're gonna, let's see, I'm gonna do one other. We'll do this one here too. These other ones I will hide, but I'm gonna give you this file so that you guys can see what I have there. There's quite a few things, including a couple of really beautiful seashell drawings that would look really, really nice, but I like this heart. Now, normally when you're going to do infusible ink, whether it's the pens or the transfer sheets, you have to mirror your image, but these images don't really require it. I would just suggest that you mirror it just to get in good habit to do it. So let's go ahead and make these two images so you can see what I mean. So I went to make it, and my computer is connected to the Joy, which is to the left, and I'll move it so you can see what it does. But for right now, we're looking at my computer to see how to set up the writing portion. So we're going to do this on a mat, and what we're going to be using is very simple, just copy paper. Laser copy paper is better than like the pulpy kind of paper that you might get, cheapy paper that you might get, but it's just really just copy paper. It's not any particular, just text weight paper. And because we're working on the Joy, I cut it in half, which is actually 4 1/4, right? Because a regular size sheet of copy paper or printer paper is 8 1/2 by 11, right? So I cut it in half lengthwise so that it's 4.25 inches and 11 inches tall. That's all. And I just use my trimmer to do that. Okay, but because it's not a smart material, I do have to put it on a mat, which is what I've done here. So when I'm making my selection, I have to choose on mat, which says for any material. So I'm going to do that and hit done. Now, what you'll notice here is it comes up with the small mat. If you're working with the longer mat, which is a 12-inch this way, you can change it over here. When you do material size, you could change it to 12-inch. And in this case, you see that they do both print on this or draw on this 12-inch mat. You want to be careful here because even though it's a 12-inch mat, the paper is only 11 inches long. So you don't want it to exceed this 11 inches, and also you don't want it to go further than 4.25. Otherwise it will write on the actual mat, okay? And you won't get a completed image. Now remember I mentioned mirroring. So here is where you would mirror, and most of the time you do need to mirror your image when you're doing infusible ink because it's like iron-on. Everything that's iron-on gets mirrored as well. But in this particular case, it's really not necessary. I would just say you do it for the habit of it, okay? Yes, I am, Pat. Thank you so much. So here we go. Our drawn images are mirrored here, and then I'm going to show you do need to, even though you're not going to be actually cutting anything, you are going to be writing, right? But you do have to pick a material in this case. So I'm going to choose medium cardstock. It's just, you can also choose copy paper. That's fine. But hold on a second. You can choose a regular copy paper as well, but I'm going to choose medium cardstock, and I'm going to move my computer out of the way so you can see how the machine works, okay? So as soon as I choose a material, I get my blinking Joy, which I'm going to move you over here just ever so slightly. So here's my blinking Joy. And I have my paper. I'm going to open up my machine, and I have my paper on my mat. But one of the things I have to do is I have to choose a color and put it into the machine. You see? So I have to take out my blade, which is very simple. You just open up the clamp here and take out the blade, put it aside, and choose your pens. Now, the pens come in a variety of colors. There are not as many as you get when you're working with the larger machines, just simply because it's a newer product and they haven't come out with all the different colors. But in this particular case, you know, we've got purple, pink, this kind of coral red, and green. So we can choose a green if we want to, or actually we're doing a heart, so let's choose the red. Okay, so we just take off the cap and put it on the end, and we just place it into the machine and close the clamp. That's it. Now, if you're working with an Explorer or a Maker, it's slightly different. Remember, you have the two clamps. It's going to be on the left hand side, that clamp, and you will need to hold the bottom of the carriage or the clamp so that you can click in the pen. But in this particular case, you don't have to click it in. You just place it in and close the clamp. And then we're going to take and put our mat in. And you see that the machine kind of just like makes sure that it has the correct amount of product in there. That's just something that it does do. And then we have to hit go on the machine over here. We hit go, and what will happen is it will start to draw our image, which is really just kind of fun, and it's pretty quick. It's really not. Good morning, Julie. Yeah, it's pretty quick, so that's pretty awesome. Hi, Carol Ann. Hi, who else did I miss? Tamara, Dawn, welcome. Hello. Hi, Becca. Oh, from the UK. Hi, how are you? Thank you for the well wishes, everyone. Carolyn. Who else? Thank you, Penny. All of my good friends. Thank you so much. So as we're watching this, it goes pretty quick, and you will see like on the screen, you can see that it will tell you like the percentage done. So it's a quarter of the way through the drawing process of drawing. So it's it's kind of cool to watch, and there is no cutting involved with this. So what you end up with is, you know, these sort of sheets of that you have to actually hand cut, which is fine, but I did it in these different colors so that you can kind of see. Now the colors are slightly muted until we get the heat on them, and that's why we have our EasyPress Mini heating up over here. And also I wanted to show you, while we're waiting for it to finish, I wanted to show you this. It's called the Cricut Heat Guide, and not a lot of people really know about this, but it's really a fabulous tool. Okay, quiet please. It's a fabulous tool, and it's available on the Cricut website. You can also Google it. Just type in Cricut Heat Guide, and you'll come across it. And there it gives you a choice of which press you're going to use, because as you know, the EasyPress comes in not just different sizes, but it was the original EasyPress, and then it came out with a 2, and then the Mini. And so that you get to choose which one you're going to use when you're doing the heat guide. And we're just gonna, it finished my heart and gave me the option to change my tool, but we're gonna leave it in. So here you've got the Mini, the EasyPress 2, or the regular EasyPress. It's important that you choose one. So we're gonna choose the EasyPress, and then we scroll down and we're going to select our transfer material. So in this case, we are using Infusible Ink Pens, which we're going to choose, but look at all of the different materials that you can choose from: foil, glitter, holographic, iron-on designs, or then you've got your smart iron-ons, and then here's your infusible ink. You get a choice of marker or transfer sheet. So we're going to choose the marker in this particular case. the heat guide is fabulous. Hi, Susan. Hi, Yolanda. So it's really fabulous. So once you choose the material that you're going to be transferring with the heat press, you have to choose the base, and then it will tell you what you need to do. So in this case, we chose Infusible Ink Pen. So it's going to give me only the choices that are infusible ink blanks. Now, some people have asked me, can you use other blanks besides the ones that, for instance, maybe you want to do a long sleeve shirt or a pillowcase or something like that. And in that particular case, you do need to, it's not recommended, but it does work from what I understand. Yay! So you would have to choose if you're, for instance, doing a long sleeve shirt, you probably choose t-shirt. But in this case, we're going to choose a baby bodysuit, and then we hit apply. And when you hit apply, it gives you this, which is basically how to achieve the proper way with the ingredients that you've put in. So I've told the heat guide, I've told it I want to use infusible ink pens. I'm going to use my mini to apply this, and then I'm going to put it on a baby bodysuit. So it tells me how long I need to and how I need to apply. It also tells me on the right hand side what kind of sandwich I have to build to create the proper transfer. Okay, so what we're doing, and it will also tell you supplies, preparation, application, and care. But in this case, we're going to focus on these two things. One of the things I will point out, you do need to preheat your substrate, or the shirt that it's going on, for a few seconds. So let's move all of this stuff out of the way so we can do the transfer. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to put the cap on my pen because I don't want it to dry out. And remember, when we're storing pens, we're storing them with the tip side down. That's because the ink is in the barrel and you want it to stay juicy, right? And let's just put back so I don't lose it. Let's put back the blade. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's also move out of the way our laptop because we don't really need it anymore. So here's what we ended up with. So we ended up with two designs on this paper, and you just simply take it off of the mat, and then we're going to cut them. So it's coming, Dawn, by the way. Your prize is coming. I haven't forgotten. I put it in, but they're having problems right now but they're catching up, which is great. So we're just going to cut it up. You don't need to be all that particular about what we're doing. I didn't have to put it in the cutter. Oh, you got part of your prize? Yeah, I know. Some of the stuff is printing partially and shipping partially. I've had that happen too this past week. So here we go. So here is here's our design that we've done. And what I've done is I've preheated my EasyPress Mini to high, because that's what my guide is telling me. And high is the 3 little squiggly lines. And it's ready because it's green. And then I have to prepare my little sandwich, so to speak. And so what that consists of is I've got my mat in here, and this is paper. It's just regular paper. And here is my t-shirt, and I'm going to put it on a flat surface. That's important. And then I'm going to take my design and kind of just eyeball it where I want to. And if you want, you can tape your designs using this heat transfer. I would recommend it for something with the pens, just simply because you don't want it to lift. We are going to need to turn it over and do the inside bit so that we know that it's going to stay on there. But we're not going to like perfectly do this just yet because we have to heat up our t-shirt a little bit, remember, for 5 seconds. So we're just, you know, running our EasyPress Mini over the t-shirt just a little tiny bit for 5 seconds. I don't want it to get, I want it to be nice. And now you could also use a, which I thought I had out here, but I seem to have missed it. You can use a roll, like a lint roller if you want, before you do this. So we've heated it up and we're gonna put our design here. I think that looks like a good design area. Okay, and then we're gonna use our butcher paper. Now, the butcher paper doesn't come with the pens. There is butcher paper available, I heard, at like Walmart, but if you also have some Infusible ink transfer sheets, you'll notice that there's quite a bit of the butcher paper rolled up in the inside of the roll here. So you can get it from transfer sheets and you don't have to worry about using it up because they give you quite a bit. So the butcher paper is so that you don't ruin the whatever, the background and also the bottom of your machine. You don't want to ruin that. And what we're going to do simply with the Mini, I just get it over here so I can finagle with it. But so we have our, see that? So we have the mat, some paper, our bodysuit, our taped on Infusible Ink Pen design, then the butcher paper, and then we're going to use the machine, the Mini, and we're going to just sort of very delicately, ever so softly, not pushing really hard, but I am moving so that I can get all parts of the design in on underneath the Mini, okay? And what we're doing is we're heating it up so that we can transfer the ink from the pens onto the bodysuit. That's all that this is. And remember that when I'm doing this is the same process as if I were to use my Explore or my Maker. It's the same process as you would do any of those machines. There's nothing different except that with the Joy you need to use the Joy pens, but with the Maker Explore you use the Maker the regular machine pens. So I'm doing this for 75 seconds according to my heat guide, right? And it says constant movement and light pressure. I didn't check the clock when I did this. I should have, but I'm going to guess that I'm probably 75 seconds is a minute and 15 seconds, right? So I'm going to guess that I probably have done that enough of that time. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure, first of all, it's super hot, but you want to make sure you get all the edges of your design. And you'll notice that the design slightly kind of lifts onto the butcher paper. That's what the butcher paper is for. Okay, so remember, super hot. We're going to lift the butcher paper, and then actually the paper itself is lifting with it. So I want to just look and make sure I got it. And actually I have a little piece up here, so I want to go back and make sure I get this part because it doesn't look nearly as done as the other part. And again, this is a learning process. It might not work out 100%, but the end result will be pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And as far as the tape is concerned, this is heat transfer tape. This is stuff that you can buy also on Cricut.com to keep it in there. Okay, so let's see how we did. Oh, look at that. So pretty. Now, we have to also do the inside just to kind of make sure that it stays, or, well, this is what they recommend, to do the inside for a few seconds, so we'll do that. Just a few seconds. All right, so we're done. Let me turn it inside out. Now, you could have also taken your pens, filled in the little portions here if you wanted to. You could have filled in the flowers with pink, green, or whatever you'd like to, or just part of the design you could have filled in if you wanted to, or you can leave it the way that it is. Like for instance with this is just a plain, I don't think that you would actually color that in, but I wanted to show you this again just so you can understand. So here's my bodysuit. I'm going to put my mat, this is my EasyPress mat, and I'm going to put it in. I'll do it on the back of this bodysuit. I'm putting it in here to the baby bodysuit. I'm also putting a sheet of cardstock, regular cardstock, into the back of the bodysuit. There we go. And then I've got my design, which I'm putting on. Look, see, I'm going to put it on facing down. That's why you need to, if it is writing, you need to be able to read it this way. And that's why you would mirror. But in this case, because we have an image that doesn't require mirroring, just so you know, that's what, you don't have to be worried about it. But so here is my baby bodysuit, and I could put that tape on if I want to. Let me just... Right, so we're going to put it on, heat up the area for the 5 seconds like we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there we go. Put our design on. We got to put the butcher paper. Now I don't want to reuse this butcher paper, at least not where this is. See, because some of the design transferred over, but I can use the other half of the butcher paper. So I'm going to cut this part and just throw away the kind that bled through. You definitely don't want to reuse butcher paper if it's got the design on it, okay? Simply because it will leach then onto your next project. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to look at the timer this time. Let's see, 9:33. Okay, so we're going to make sure we do constant movement all around the design. Constant movement. 75 seconds, and I did watch the clock, so that's good. And we've actually got a circular design, so that makes it easier for moving around the EasyPress, right? So I'm just going to make sure I get all of the edges as well as the middle. Let me check my clock. Nope, still going. All right, let's see, are we done? Yep. Let's do one last pass, make sure I got everything. And then remember, it's very, very hot. So we're gonna lift it up and boom. Isn't that amazing? Really is super amazing. I love it. We're going to do the inside as well. Now this is available. This is now going to be completely washable. It will never come off your whatever the substrate. You'll wear out the, or grow out of whatever the thing is that you put it on before the design comes off, which is always kind of a risk for iron on. Although I have to say, iron on, if you do it correctly, will last for a very long time on a t-shirt. But the thing about this, let me just do my few seconds here. Okay. But the thing that I really love about this is it doesn't, there's no feel. Like this is infused, that's why they call it infusible ink. It's infused onto the fabric. There's no difference. Like when you do iron on, if you've done iron on before, you can't peel it off usually if it's done correctly, but you can kind of feel that there's a difference, almost like a crunchiness, but not with the infusible ink. This is infused into the fabric, which is why it won't peel off, or it won't fade away or rinse off, and it's ready to wear. You don't need to wash it. You don't need to wash it ahead of time either, but it's ready to wear, and it stretches with the garment. It's not like if it's something on top of it. You see how it stretches with the garment? And that is how these work. And again, you could, if you wanted to, now with our heart, you could, I would not recommend doing the same design twice. So if you've used the design once, it might look like, oh, hey, I can try it again. If you want to try it, you can. But basically what the heat has done with the pen is it, first of all, it's changed the color, so it's not muted as much as it was before. The pens do come off looking sort of muted until you apply heat. But also, that ink has transferred into the bodysuit, okay? And again, so you don't want to reuse something you've done, and you don't want to reuse the butcher paper. And that is how you do infusible ink with the EasyPress Mini and using Infusible Ink Pens. Isn't that lovely? So it's really a simple process. It's not something to be afraid of, although it is new. It's a new process, something new to learn. But if you're using your heat guide and you're choosing your images wisely, then it's really super simple to achieve really fabulous results with the EasyPress Mini, and also with your Joy or your other machine, and using the heat guide with Infusible Ink Pens. So that's that. And now tomorrow what we'll do is we'll do infusible ink with transfer sheets, and I'm actually going to use let me see. I'm going to use the large size transfer sheets because a lot of people think, oh, you know, with the Mini and with the Joy, do I need to use this? Well, you can use this, and it's perfectly sized, but you can use these infusible ink larger sizes and cut them down, and that it makes so you have twice as much in the box. I think it's much more economical, right? Infusible ink markers be used to color in the image. Yeah, sure. So Sarah's asking, how do you do this with coloring the image? So what you would do, I don't have images that are drawn too well. And in this case, if you happen to have, here's something called freehand markers, and these they don't go into any machine, and so you can purchase these. So really what they are, they come in a brush marker and they come in a regular marker. So here's the marker, that's what it looks like, okay? No, You can do this on any machine. The only thing different is you need the pens that are going to fit in your machine, okay? So, for instance, Nicole is saying, you know, can I use this on my Explore 2? Yes, you absolutely can. You just need to make sure that you have the size pen. So here is the Infusible Ink Pen for the Maker or for any of the Explore machines. And these are the smaller for the Mini. I'm sorry, the Joy. So it's slightly smaller and the barrel is slightly thinner for these. So you have to use those for the Joy, but you can use them. Now, there are some pens that they've come out with, like this one, that is called Freehand. You see this? Freehand? And those are not, they're actually wider than the Explore or the Maker, and they have a very, like, kind of like a Sharpie kind of a tip to it. So I want to just show you, I mean, it's just kind of not the image that I would normally do it on, but you simply are going to just color whatever part of this that you want with your pen, just like you would color on a coloring page or something. So let's say you just wanted to do these pieces right here. This is just one step before you did the heating process. I am not a great colorer, so I'm sorry for not being super good at coloring and keeping in the, I've never been able to keep in the lines, but this is how you would do it with the freehand markers. Now you could also do this with the pens you already have, and the pens do come in a 0.4 and a 1.0. So you could do it with the pens that you already have, or you can use these free hand markers like this. Okay, and then you would just continue on. This is before you applied the heat, but after you did your image. Now, here's an interesting thing. Let's say you don't have a machine at all, but you want to try Infusible ink. You can do that with these pens. You can do whatever design, as long as you're doing something that is mirrored, which makes it a little bit hard, but if you use like a light pad, you can do a mirrored effect. But here I am just doing this on my paper. And sorry, I'm not keeping in the lines, but here I am, you know, filling in these little parts of my design. I could go down here and fill in every other one or whatever you decide. You guys are the artists that come up with the ideas. I'm just showing you the technique, okay? So here I could do all of this drawing in the whatever, every other space, and then I could come back and do a orange. And remember too that these are muted, and until you apply the heat on them, it's not going to show the exact color. But when you are filling it in, see how I left this little spot open? That will show, so I need to go back and fill in those little tiny spots that I missed. And then it looks very muted, but when it comes out, it will be much brighter color. So I hope that helps the person. Any trick to make Design Space do the coloring? If there is any trick with that, I haven't tried it yet. You mean coloring with the freehand? Well, there is a couple of fonts. So if you wanted to do like a writing thing, like with letters, there are a couple of fonts that do actually fill in the letters for you, but they're hard to come by. They're hard to find. I think there's one called Carly Wright. I think it's called Carly Wright, that they came out with last year when we did Infusible Ink launch, when we did the Infusible ink launch. But that's what you would do to fill in. Okay, does that help you? Yes, you absolutely, yes. Thank you, Deanne. So Deanne's asking, can I use these to make my own designs on paper, hand-drawn? This is a wonderful application that you can use for the kids, let's say. And so you take your paper and whatever, you want to do a smiley face. Now again, this color isn't going to come out, but you want to do a smiley face, or you're a better drawer than I am. I'm not a very good drawer, but I don't know. If you have a certain thing you always like is your thing to do, you can do it like this. Now remember, it's going to be going on this way, so if you have a writing, you have to do it separately. But I have seen people who will take something that was written by someone and write it, like kind of draw a trace over it and use it, okay? So this is how you do it. You make a sun like this or something, or have the kids do a drawing, and make sure they do it with the pen. And then, no, it does not have to be the mini press. I'm just showing you the mini press because I have it here. But remember, it comes in the original EasyPress, and it comes in the EasyPress 2. Now, there are some people who own presses that are not Cricut brand, and they can still use the heat guide to achieve it. And yeah, I do believe that it would work with those types of presses, but I don't own any non-Cricut press, so I can't really demo it. But I do believe that you can use the heat guide and sort of, you know, work with the parameters that it's established so that you can come up with the proper way, okay? All right, so that is it for today. And tomorrow we will do Infusible Ink transfer sheets. We'll also do it on the Joy, just simply because this is my setup right now. But transfer sheets can be used in the Explorer, the Maker, of course. And I just want to show how you can do it on all the machines. Super easy to do, and just fabulous results, as you can see. Just really interesting results. Oh, no, my pleasure, Dorothy. So thank you, everyone, for coming. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 to show you Infusible Ink transfer sheets. And later on in the week, we're going to be doing a number of other paper projects. So if you're a paper fan, I haven't abandoned paper, excuse me. And we'll be doing more paper projects, but I wanted to show you this Infusible ink. Thanks so much, everyone. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.